have come out. The experience was actually enlightening. I was a little bit worried that my friends and family were going to be a little bit kind of standoffish to the way it was, because I'm an only boy out of 4 kids and I'm the youngest. So my parents did have high hopes. But the experience was actually lovely. My parents were really supportive. And the way they did it was like, okay, so that you're gay, that doesn't matter. You're still Mitchell, you're still a little boy. As long as you're happy, that's all we care about.
So coming out for me, it was hard. It wasn't so much that I was afraid no one would accept me or that I'd be, I guess, kind of shunned from family or friends. It was more so about me accepting who I am. So it was more about self-discovery and accepting that I am gay and I'm fine with it. It took a while. I think I was 22 when I started coming out, and then just happened. But I guess you never really stop coming out.
Yes, I have come out, and it wasn't a really pleasant experience for me.
Yeah, so I came out about 3 or 4 years ago, I forget. The experience for me was interesting because coming from that seminary background, I suppose, a lot of people who had originally thought that I might be gay then thought that I wasn't. So it was hard trying to find someone for my initial coming out, because you know how you find that one person that you tell first as like a tester? It was hard finding that one person, I suppose. But when I came out, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I think I made it hard for myself. Like when I was telling my mum, I was like crying and bawling my eyes out. My mum didn't care at all. It was just like, don't be silly. Like, you know, it's who you are. I just want you to be happy. And I was crying a lot because I kind of regretted it, because I felt like I had identified so much with this person who was starting to become a priest and who was so far away from that lifestyle that I felt like I was letting people down in coming out. But even then, like, there's certain people that I have and certain people that I haven't. So most of the church community, at least I haven't explicitly come out to. And I plan on keeping it that way, not for any other reason than they're not really part of my life anymore, just because I suppose I've kind of avoided that scene now.
So yes, I have come out. The experiences were quite different in who I came out to. So my coming out story was, it kind of spread around school a little bit, and I denied it for quite a significant amount of time. My family, some of them were accepting, some of them weren't quite accepting. So there was some threats around physical abuse for my sexuality, but that's now since resolved. And I still find myself, I guess, coming out on a daily basis in terms of clarifying to people that I am sexually attracted to males.
Yes, I have come out, and the experience was really good for me. I came out to everyone. I was really lucky. My family was really supportive. It took them, a couple of weeks to get used to it, but after that, it was just snap back to reality. And yeah, especially my mother and my grandmother, especially, she was very supportive and protective, as families do. But yeah, it was really good, especially with my friends, and even my school at the time was really good, and they were a Catholic school, so yeah, it was good. Challenges for other people I see living in rural areas who are wanting to come out would again be that the push for gender roles, that if their mother or son, has this idea of what their child should be, especially in this area, it's a lot of, we live in an area where it's steelworks, so the gender roles push, for a man to go out and, be an electrician, be a tradie, but that's always not the case.
Some challenges guys would face coming out in smaller rural areas would be that it's a smaller community and it's a lot more closed-minded.
The challenges that guys could face in regional and rural areas in terms of coming out is, I guess, that stereotypical, labelled as flamboyant and things like that. And again, like I was talking about before, the lack of support that's out there, so they can really struggle in terms of being comfortable with who they are without that support around them.
There's a lot of challenges that I've heard. I never had them. I was around a great supportive group of people that really loved who I was, and they were inspired by my openness. So when I came out, it was just, yep, sweet. If anything goes wrong in high school, we won't worry about it. We'll look after you.
In a rural and regional area, I think one of the biggest challenges in being gay and coming out is this kind of, I guess it's more of a man's world out here compared to more coastal and urban areas. So you kind of, it's very sport orientated, so you kind of expect it to be a certain way, and if you don't fit in or if you aren't that certain way, you're kind of looked at differently.
I suppose the thing that guys might experience as an extra challenge in rural areas is that there's not ever much of a gay scene. Like, my dad lives 5 minutes from Oxford Street in Sydney. So whenever I go to Sydney, I know that if I want to do something, I can just go around to Oxford Street. So there's always, even if you go there completely alone, you can kind of be on this whole street that's dedicated to like gay bars and stuff. There's a community, and there's hundreds and hundreds of people around you who, even though you may not know them at all, they've got similar struggles, similar prejudice and whatever in their life. I think the tricky thing with rural areas is that even though I might not know every single gay in Coffs Harbour, I know there's not that many. There's a lot more than I know of, and there's a lot more than come to the few events that are around. But even then, if there's an event on, there's probably only like 30 kind of gays, and then like another 40 something gay friendly people. Like, I'm not saying that there's only 30, 40 friendly gay friendly people in Coffs, but if the event has 100 people there, the gays are still the minority. Which, while that isn't bad, it's kind of, I don't know, you don't get the overwhelming sense of, oh wow, there's so many people like me here, So there's that. And then I guess the other thing is that because the community is so small, the kind of the gay gossip and that kind of stuff that happens is really limited to a small circle of people. So stuff travels pretty quick if you ever get labelled something. Thank God I never did. But I don't think it's important to come out to everybody. I think part of the transgender kind of campaign really has something that the gay campaign doesn't, in that they're really spot on with, do you go up to anyone and just ask about their genitals, Do you go up to anyone and ask about their sexual preference? Why would that be a part of a normal conversation otherwise, So I don't come out to everyone. I mean, especially, I'm a piano teacher and I work in 2 Catholic schools, so I almost specifically avoid the conversation, not that it ever comes up. But if people do ask me, I'm very open about it, but I don't necessarily walk around with a sign saying I'm gay, because I don't think you need to, and I don't think it's appropriate. I don't walk up to people and say, oh, by the way, you're straight, because you really aren't saying hey much, or waving your hands around. So I think you must be straight.
Yeah, I do. I think it's very important for you to come out to everyone, because you have to be happy with yourself, and you don't need to hide or be ashamed. It's not acceptable, for yourself. You're not respecting yourself. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to be out and open with everyone, friend or stranger.
I don't think it is important to come out to everybody. Coming out is an individual journey. It's for everyone, and it's that person that needs to decide who knows and who doesn't necessarily need to know. So I'm out to everyone. I'm very comfortable in my sexuality, but I guess that's not for everyone either. So it's up to the individual person about how important coming out to everyone is. My advice to young people that could possibly be struggling with their sexuality in regional and rural areas is that you're not alone. There is support out there, no matter where you go. In particular in Dubbo, I guess the community is changing in terms of acceptance, and there's a lot more support and services out there now than there currently were.
The advice I'd like to share would be to be true to who you are and to stay strong, I guess.
The advice that I'd give to young gay men wanting to come out in regional areas, I'd say go for it, because in a couple of years their perceptions will change, and you will help spur that change. So I'd say go for it.
So in terms of coming out, I don't think it's important that you need to tell everyone, or that it's important for people to know, but I think it's important for you to be comfortable with who you are enough to tell people. It is quite scary for a lot of people, especially in a rural area, but I think once you do it, you kind of just that great big sigh of relief. And I guess when it comes to what people might think, I'm going to quote Dr. Seuss with, "Those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind."
I guess the biggest thing is that if you're questioning your gender or your sexuality, you shouldn't feel bad about that, because I've taken a long time to recognize that it's just something that I was born with, and that I've had experiences with both men and women. And to be honest, the person I asked out my current partner was a girl, and if she wasn't going overseas at the time, I'd probably be dating her now. Love you, babe. But I think that it's important to just experience things and see if it makes you happy. Don't regret mistakes. If you think you might like guys and you go out and date a guy or sleep with a guy, and then you wake up the next morning and you think, actually, you know what? That's really not what makes me happy. That's really not how I connect with myself. Then don't regret that. You now know, or at least for now you're not comfortable with that. Just as equally, if you go out and you think, no, I'm straight, I don't care that I watch gay porn every night, I'm straight. And then you go on a date with a woman, you might even sleep with a woman. If you then wake up the next morning and you go, actually, you know what, this woman makes me really happy, well, go for it, I think we get too hung up on labels and then the stereotypes that come with the labels and how that then affects our lives. I think it's more important just to realize that you're a person. I'm Sam. I'm not Sam who is gay. I am Sam, and I happen to be in love with another man.